Cruise lines don't just come up with rules for fun. Most of the time, they're forced into it. Passengers push the limits, safety issues pop up, or someone tries a crazy loophole that ruins it for everyone else. And that's how we end up with a long list of surprising things you can't bring, can't do, and can't get away with on board in 2025. Some of these bans make sense, others, they're so bizarre you'll wonder how they even became a problem in the first place. Rumor number 1, stricter dress codes coming. First up, the dress code rumor. Cruise forums have been buzzing about lines, quietly talking about tightening up what passengers can wear in dining rooms and lounges. We're talking crop tops, ripped jeans, overly casual outfits, things that have usually slid by on some ships. It's not official yet, but it's been mentioned enough in cruise communities that people are starting to prepare for it. Imagine getting turned away from dinner because your shirt's the casual, awkward way to start a vacation. Rumor number 2, no more cruise selfies or backstage snaps. Next rumor, the end of cruise selfies and backstage photos. Some passengers love sneaking a picture with their favorite crew member or snapping a quick shot in a staff-only corridor. But there's talk that cruise lines may crack down hard on this. The reason? Privacy and security. Crew are at work not posing for Instagram, and wandering into staff hallways can cause safety issues. So if this becomes an official ban, expect tighter rules on where your camera can go and who you can point it at. And those are the 2 rumors floating around right now. They're not confirmed, but they're gaining traction. So let's move from whispers to the facts. Here's the real banned list for 2025, and we'll kick it off with something that surprises a lot of passengers. Number 3, casino filming ban. Casinos are one of the most exciting places on board, but they're also one of the most heavily monitored. And in 2025, cruise lines have tightened the rules on filming and photography inside them. Now, here's the surprise. A lot of passengers don't realize this isn't just a casual rule. It's a hard ban. You might get away with a sneaky 5-second clip at the slots, but if you point your phone anywhere near a blackjack or roulette table, security will swoop in almost instantly. One Royal Caribbean guest said they only lifted their phone for photos at a blackjack table before a staff member was standing right behind them, warning them to put it away. Another Carnival cruiser reported that security told them flat out, "If you keep recording in here, you're out of the casino." Why the big deal? Casinos worrying about cheating, privacy, and guest safety. Cameras can capture betting patterns, card hands, or even other guests who didn't consent to being filmed. So while the slots sometimes slide under the radar, table games are a total no-go. And this isn't just about phones, tripods, GoPros, even hidden button cams. Staff are trained to spot them. Some vloggers have had footage deleted on the spot, and repeat offenders risk being banned from the casino for the rest of the voyage. Number 4, door decoration bans and strict rules. Cabin doors used to be one of the most creative parts of a cruise. Families would plaster them with paper cutouts, magnets, streamers, even full-themed displays. It made it easy to find your room and added a bit of fun to the long hallways. But in 2025, several cruise lines have either tightened or outright banned the practice. Norwegian Cruise Line now specifically forbids paper decorations because they're considered a fire hazard. Disney still allows decorating it, but only with magnets. If you use tape or adhesives, you could end up with a cleaning fee on your account. Princess has also joined in, telling passengers to keep it minimal or risk removal by staff. And here's the part that surprises a lot of people. Passengers say these rules aren't always enforced evenly. Some guests report seeing half a hallway covered in magnets, while others had their decorations taken down within hours. One couple even said their magnets were fine for 3 days until security suddenly told them to strip everything off. So if you were planning to bring a roll of Disney-themed stickers or a stack of family photos to cover your cabin door, think again. At best, you'll waste your time. At worst, you might be charged for damage. Number 5, over the due organizers, Disney and others. Speaking of cabins, those viral TikTok hacks about the do organizers. Yeah, Disney banned them. Turns out they scratch up the paint and woodwork around the doors. Other lines have followed suit, so if you were planning to use one to stash shoes, snacks, or toiletries, don't bother. Number 6. Pull float and oversized inflatable band. Those giant flamingo floats might look fun on Instagram, but they've become a nightmare for cruise lines. People were dragging them into ship pools, blocking swimmers, knocking over drinks, even messing with the pull filters. Carnival and other lines finally cracked down in 2025. Floats and oversized inflatables are officially banned in ship pools and even at private island pools. Sure, you can take them into the ocean, but on board, security will stop you before you even blow one up. Number 7. Chair hog ban Virgin Voyages. Everyone's seen it. The pool deck is packed, but half the best chairs are just holding towels, flip-flops, or a book, while the actual passengers are nowhere to be found. It drives people nuts. Virgin Voyages decided enough was enough. They've now made it official: if your stuff sits longer than 40 minutes without you, crew are allowed to clear it. Towels, sunglasses, bags, gone, and don't expect sympathy when you return 3 hours later, iced coffee in hand, wondering who stole your spot. So if you want a lounger, actually use it, because chair hogging has gone from annoying habit to rule-breaking offense. Number 8. Surge-protected power strips. Power outlets are like gold on a cruise. Between phones, cameras, tablets, and hair tools, everyone wants more plugs. That's why surge-protected power strips became such a popular packing hack until cruise lines started banning them. The reason? Fire risk. Surge protectors are designed for land use, and they can overload the ship's electrical system. Cruise forums are filled with stories of guests having theirs pulled at security, or even finding a confiscation slip in their luggage. Some lines will loan you an approved strip if you need one for medical equipment. But don't expect your Amazon special to make it past screening. So if you're packing for your trip, stick to cruise-approved power cubes or bring a long charging cable. Otherwise, you'll be standing in the guest services line begging for an outlet. Number 9. Irons, steamers, kettles, and hot plates. These show up on every confiscated list, but people still try. Irons, steamers, kettles, even tiny hot plates. They're all banned for the same reason: they can overheat and spark fires. If you want wrinkle-free clothes, send them to the ship's laundry or pack wrinkle release spray. Because if you try sneaking in your travel iron, you'll never see it again. Number 10. Teen and minor curfews. Late-night packs of kids running through the ship might seem harmless until it keeps other passengers awake at 2 a.m. Carnival finally decided to clamp down with stricter curfews for minor. Parents are now on the hook if their kids are caught breaking the rules, with warnings, fines, or even being asked to disembark in extreme cases. One parent shared online that they were shocked when security knocked on their cabin door because their 15-year-old was still hanging around the arcade past midnight. It's all part of Carnival's have fun, be safe policy, and it's a reminder that supervision doesn't stop once you board. If your kids are out late unsupervised, expect crew to step in fast. Number 11. Public music and rowdy behavior. Cruise decks used to be full of people blasting their own playlists from portable speakers, competing with each other, and even drowning out the ship's announcements. It annoyed passengers, interfered with safety calls, and turned the pool deck into a battle of the DJs. In 2025, Carnival officially banned all portable and Bluetooth speakers in public spaces. Now it's headphones only, and this isn't just a guideline. Crew are actually enforcing it. Passengers have shared stories of security confiscating speakers and holding them until the end of the cruise. The crackdown isn't just about noise. Cruise lines say it's about safety. If you can't hear a safety announcement or emergency signal because you've got your beats blasting, that's a liability for everyone. So if you're planning to turn the Lido deck into your personal dance floor, think again. Your playlist just got silenced. Number 12. Balcony smoking and vaping bans. Balconies used to be the last refuge for smokers and vapor on a cruise. You couldn't light up in your cabin, and designated areas were limited, but the balcony was often overlooked. Not anymore. In 2025, more cruise lines have extended their smoking bans to cover balconies entirely, and that includes vaping. The reason? Fire risk and passenger complaints. A single lit cigarette or spark from a vape coil can be enough to set off alarms or cause real damage at sea. Guests have shared stories of being hit with hefty cleaning fees after staff found cigarette burns or vapor residue on balcony furniture. Others said security came knocking after neighbors reported the smell drifting into their cabin. So, if you thought your balcony was a safe space to sneak a puff, it's not. Stick to the designated smoking areas because getting caught could cost you hundreds of dollars or even your spot on the ship. Number 13. Coolers and outside beverage restrictions. Bringing your own drinks on board used to be one of the best cruise hacks. A way to save money and keep your favorite soda or juice close at hand. But in 2025, cruise lines have tightened the rules on coolers and outside beverages. Most ships now have strict size limits and many completely forbid glass containers. Carnival, for example, only allows a small collapsible cooler for things like medication or baby formula. If you show up with a giant Yeti cooler full of sodas or beer, it's not getting past security. Passengers have shared stories online of being stopped at embarkation and forced to pour out what they brought or even leave their coolers behind with port security. It's not just about cutting down on guests sneaking alcohol, though that's part of it. Cruise lines say it's about safety, storage space, and keeping the ship's food and beverage system consistent. So, if you were planning to wheel a cooler through the terminal, save yourself the hassle. Bring what's allowed in a small bag and let the rest come from the ship. Number 14. Smart luggage with removable batteries. Smart luggage seemed like the future. Bags with built-in chargers, GPS trackers, and even motorized wheels you could ride through the airport. Great idea on land, but at sea, it turned into a safety nightmare. The problem is the lithium batteries. If they can't be removed, they pose a serious fire risk. Airports were the first to crack down, and cruise lines quickly followed. Now, if your suitcase has a battery that can't be popped out, it's not making it past security. Passengers have shared stories of being forced to leave expensive smart bags behind in the terminal, scrambling to repack everything into a cheap duffel. Others said crew placed bright red hazard tags on their luggage and held it until disembarkation. Number 15. AI and recording smart devices. Wearable tech has gotten wild in the last few years. Smart glasses that can record video, jewelry that streams live audio, even AI pins that capture everything around you. But while that might fly at a tech convention, cruise lines are slamming the brakes. The issue: privacy. Guests and crew don't want to be recorded 247 without their knowledge. Cruise forums in 2025 are full of stories of security stepping in when they spotted passengers wearing suspicious always-on devices. Some gadgets were confiscated, others were sealed in envelopes until the end of the cruise. And here's where it gets tricky: most cruise contracts already ban hidden cameras. But the new wave of AI gadgets makes enforcement harder. If you show up with futuristic glasses that double as a camera, don't be surprised if security tells you to put them away permanently. So if you're packing for your cruise, stick to regular phones and cameras. Anything that looks like a spy gadget is going to raise eyebrows fast. Number 16. Single-use plastics and toiletry packs. You might not think of plastic straws or mini shampoo bottles as dangerous items, but cruise lines are being forced to ban them, too. Not for safety, but for the environment. Many countries and ports have outlawed single-use plastics, and cruise lines are under pressure to comply. That means no more plastic straws with your drink, no more little ketchup packets at the buffet, and even the disappearance of those tiny hotel-style shampoo bottles in cabins. Instead, you'll find refill stations, bulk dispensers, and paper straws that may or may not hold up in your cocktail. Some guests love the eco-friendly shift, while others ran online about soggy straws and watered-down toiletries. But whether you like it or not, this isn't optional. Ports like the Bahamas and many in Europe have laws against disposable plastics. So if cruise lines don't comply, they can't dock. That's why this ban isn't going away anytime soon. Number 17. Hoverboards, scooters, and balance boards. Hoverboards had their 15 minutes of fame, and now they're firmly on the cruise industry's blacklist. Same goes for electric scooters, segways, and those one-heat balance boards. The reasons are obvious. Fire risk from the batteries, safety risk from trying to ride them on a moving ship, and the fact that narrow hallways just aren't made for speeding wheels. Carnival's prohibited list in 2025 spells it out clearly, and other lines echo the same rule. Passengers who tried to bring them have reported their boards being tagged and held until the end of the trip. One cruiser joked online that their expensive scooter enjoyed the whole vacation locked in a storage room. So don't pack your hoverboard or scooter thinking it'll be fun on deck. It won't make it on board at all. Cruise ships are for walking, not wheeling. Number 18. Can France big ship limits? Not every ban comes from the cruise lines themselves. Some are forced on them by the ports they visit. And one of the biggest crackdowns is happening in the south of France. Cannes, the glamorous city famous for its film festival, has announced new restrictions that will kick in from 2026. Large ships carrying thousands of passengers at a time will no longer be welcome. The city is capping the number of cruisers allowed to disembark each day and restricting tender access. The reason: over tourism. Locals complained that the narrow streets were flooded with day trippers, overwhelming restaurants, shops, and transport. Environmental groups also pressured city officials to cut down on ship emissions and sea damage. For passengers, this means some itineraries will skip Cannes entirely, while others will allow only a fraction of the ship's guests ashore. So if you've always dreamed of strolling the Crusette straight off your cruise ship, those opportunities are running out. Number 19. Nice, France, the floating hotel ban. Just down the coast in Nice, France, another surprising restriction is hit. Ships with more than 900 passengers, the so-called floating hotels, are being blocked from letting guests disembark via tenders. This ban caught a lot of travelers off guard. Imagine booking a Mediterranean cruise, expecting a day in Nice, only to find out your ship is too big to let you off. Smaller luxury lines can still tender their guests, but the mega ships, they'll likely have to sail right past. The move is part of a wider trend across Europe. Cities like Venice and Barcelona have already taken action, and Nice's stance shows that more destinations are willing to prioritize residents and local tourism balance over cruise ship crowds. It's a reminder that sometimes the real bans that affect your trip don't come from the cruise line, they come from the ports themselves. And when they do, there's nothing the ship can do to change it. Number 20. Portable and Bluetooth speakers. This one has shocked a lot of regular cruisers. Carnival has completely banned portable and Bluetooth speakers on board. It used to be common to see groups blasting their playlist by the pool, competing to see who had the loudest bass. But in 2025, Carnival drew a hard line: headphones only. Why? Safety and sanity. Passengers couldn't hear ship announcements. Crew were constantly dealing with noise complaints, and the decks were turning into dueling dance floors. Now, if you try to bring a speaker on board, it's going to be confiscated. Security has even been spotted tagging speakers and luggage during screening. Some passengers say they were able to collect theirs at the end of the cruise, but others never saw it again. Number 21. Personal Wi-Fi routers and hotspots. This one stings for the tech-savvy travelers. For years, people brought their own little travel routers to share the ship's Wi-Fi across multiple devices. One login fee, 5 devices connected. It was the ultimate money-saving hack, but the cruise lines caught on. In 2025, Royal Caribbean updated its prohibited items list to specifically include travel routers and internet sharing gear, and celebrities soon followed. They claim it's about network stability and security. But let's be honest, it's also about protecting their per-device Wi-Fi revenue. Passengers report routers being pulled at security or confiscated mid-cruise when staff noticed unusual traffic. One traveler said they had to go to guest services to pick up their router in a sealed envelope at disembarkation. So if you were planning to split Wi-Fi with your whole family using one account, that loophole is officially closed. Number 22. Personal satellite dishes and Starlink minis. This one might surprise you. Yes, people really were bringing their own Starlink mini dishes on board. And yes, cruise lines are now confiscating them. It sounds wild, but think about it. A passenger sets up their own satellite dish on a balcony or open deck, tapping into a private network that bypasses the ship's system. Not only does it undercut the ship's Wi-Fi, but it could also interfere with the vessel's own communication and navigation system. There are reports online of guests having their dishes seized during embarkation, with staff explaining they would be stored until the end of the cruise. In some cases, the equipment was tagged and never left the terminal at all. So while Starlink might be a great option for your RV or home, don't bother packing it for a cruise. The only satellites allowed on board are the ones owned by the ship. Number 23. Drones. Drones have been a hot-button item for years, but in 2025, more cruise lines made their stance crystal clear. They're banned. Virgin Voyages, Princess, Cunard all list drones on their prohibited items list. The reason is simple: safety and privacy. Imagine a drone flying near the ship's funnel or dropping into a crowded pool deck. Not only could it injure people, it could interfere with the ship's operations. Passengers often argue that they only plan to use drones in port, but security doesn't care. If you bring one, it's likely going to be taken at embarkation and returned when you disembark. One cruiser even said their drone was tagged with a bright warning label before they ever left the terminal. So if you were hoping to get that epic aerial shot of your ship sailing into port, you'll need to rely on stock footage. Drones and cruise ships just don't mix anymore. Number 24. CBD products. And finally, one of the newest and most surprising bans, CBD. Virgin Voyages quietly added CBD and related products to its prohibited items list in 2025. This caught a lot of US passengers off guard since CBD is legal and widely available in many states. But when you're at sea, things are different. Cruise lines have to follow the laws of every port they visit, and not all countries allow CBD. Bringing it on board could create legal problems for the ship itself. And Virgin isn't taking that risk. Passengers have reported CBD gummies, oils, and even lotions being confiscated at embarkation. In some cases, items were disposed of on the spot. Virgin makes it clear, if you bring CBD, you won't get it back. So whether you use it for relaxation or sleep, leave it at home. Because on Virgin and likely soon on other lines, CBD has joined the official banned list. And that wraps up the surprising list of things cruise lines were forced to ban in 2025. Some of these rules make sense, others are just plain strange, but either way, they're here to stay. Which one shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more insider cruise secrets you won't hear anywhere.